So with the PlayStation Showcase, there's a lot to naturally look forward to, as the announcement of Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake, Delta, has been announced. But there's a few worrying things and issues that we will raise in this video that I think will be interesting, that why we all should be worried about this remake that Konami has in store for us. With a controversial past surrounding Metal Gear Solid, it's going to be quite difficult to see how Konami can win us all back. And stating the obvious like everybody does in these kind of videos, Hideo Kojima will not reprise the role of helping making the Metal Gear Solid games. So one is left to believe maybe we won't have that Kojima magic with the direction of video games. Because let's be honest, it's definitely not going to be the same without his influence. And the perfect example of this problem is Resident Evil. Whilst its remakes are beautiful in terms of graphical enhancements and within gameplay rights, certain elements and content is missing from the originals that we all know and love, and because of that, the game lacks the same appeal and ambience that the original always has. That's not to say that a remake doesn't actually do an amazing job. For example, Resident Evil 1's remake was fantastically done, along with 2, with the disappointing 3 which had a severe amount of content cut from it. Now usually with remakes we do expect that there is time constraints, budgeting, all the rest of it that can affect how and what may be put into the game. But in today's modern era you'd think that that wouldn't be an issue, but it appears to be that it is. Now Capcom do it really well where they do give us what we pay for and we do get a good game. But the only trouble is Konami hasn't brought a game out to this extent and level for quite some time, and it's going to be quite unsettling to see the outcome. Now I ain't taking a massive shit on those who see a trailer and think, wow, this is going to be great. I get it, I was one of those who jumped on the cyberpunk hype train, and boy was that one of the worstest decisions in my life. And yes, to this day I'm still scarred.
Cleanest, least bloody option.
The biggest critique I have of remakes is the cut content. Because aside not having the things you remember from the originals, also the maps seem to be more smaller, with different locations seeming not to be in the remake, such as Resident Evil 3. If somebody told me you could have completed this game in under 2 hours, I'd say you're full of shit. Everybody might have a reason to critique this game itself, but for me it just felt really short and easy to complete.
Well, the boss fights are fucking terrible. Except for the flamethrower one. I actually like the flamethrower one, but the others are just not good.
So fact is, remakes are known to cut corners, and I hope one corner that they don't cut in Metal Gear Solid is these iconic moments we all know, love and remember, such as the cave sequence, where you have to find a torch in pitch black, you can't see a thing, having to traverse our way through dangerous animals such as poisonous snakes and poisonous spiders in order to try and find our way out of this cave. I mean, it's not like Snakes is gonna go on Amazon, right, and order himself a fucking torch.
Damn, I've got no torch. I can't see a thing down here. Oh wait, Amazon. Nice one, Snake.
I think the biggest thing that has everybody in suspense is the unknown, and given on how remakes have been over the years, that perhaps we might just lose something special that we have from these games, such as the idea of the maps getting smaller, or whether that be certain gameplay features that might just seem to go amiss. I think the best example to take a page out of any remade book would definitely be the likes of Resident Evil 4. Now you may disagree, but the reason why I think this is because Resident Evil 4 seems to utilise everything perfectly well while still keeping that old school kind of atmosphere that we all love from the previous title, such as menus and perhaps guns. Say for instance when Snake walks into a certain area within the map to find a gun, perhaps there's an interaction where you can actually pick it up and there's maybe like a small little cutscene or such to give it that more realistic, more modern vibe. The most obvious answer is what we're looking for in a remake is for everything we love from the original to be the same, only that we can understand that with the remake there is better upgraded features within certain areas. Like for example, if Snake gets an injury, it actually impacts him within the game aside from removing his stamina. Like if you get shot in the leg with a bullet, perhaps you're limping, you're not as mobile and as quick as you once was, and so on. There's definite areas for rooms of improvement, of course, and that's why remakes are such a great thing, because you can still keep the core element of what makes it great, but still add to that sense of realism to make it seem more for its time. And let's not forget, Metal Gear Solid is a tactical espionage game. The whole sense of this game is to be stealthy, tactical, operative, not to be so much in people's faces. So it'd be cool to utilise the fact that you wouldn't engage so much in battle, because if you get an injury, Aside from the casual stamina gauge knock, you'll be incapable of shooting, for instance, until you've managed to remove the bullets that are causing you your wound, and that would give Snake the inability to shoot and be more effective within combat. I guess the promising news is that Konami have ensured us that everything that we love from the original shall be implemented in the remake, but of course, one will have their doubts. And of course, it's just like Twin Snakes, where everybody will all agree that the original PlayStation 1 version was better, because yes, whilst the gameplay was a lot smoother, fact is, the cutscenes and everything else that was in the game was completely different, and in fact some would say the cutscenes were very over the top. And it isn't just that, it's also that the voice acting was different on the other one. Whilst they did reprise their roles, the original voice actors from the original game, it just wasn't the same. Now, I think this game itself should have been remade, perhaps in an era like today where audio technology is perhaps a lot better. So they could have took the original audio, as they are planning to do for MGS3 to Delta, and upgrade and buff the audio effects. Just like a lot of things in life, the gaming industry is quite competitive, and when it comes to remakes, some do it better than others. And for example, Illusion Softworks with its remake of Mafia 1, which in the competitive stages of open world gangster crime games such as Rockstar's, one can say that a credibility is hung upon how people present their games. And that brings me to the point of, well, Konami doesn't really have much credibility after the coming years of the incident with Kojima. Plus the same with Rockstar Games and its failed remake of the original classics we all remember, which looks like some full-blown amateur crappy development which modders have proven they can do so much better.
Hey, get yourself a beer or something. I'll catch up with you.
I mean, come on, we all knew how much of a flop the Trilogy Edition was, but it just comes to show with Rockstar's kind of credibility and their integrity in the video game industry these days, just like Konami, are really not that good. In fact, they don't give a fuck. I mean, look at the pachinko machine, and look at all the other things that Rockstar have been doing in terms of online. They're just exploiting you for your money. Now you, like me, are going to give people the benefit of the doubt, because a lot of times you do get disappointed, but throughout the history, Konami and Rockstar Games have created amazing games. So maybe we can just look past it this time, and perhaps Konami understand the gaming climate and realise what they can't do to get this wrong, because it's so important that they get it right. Well guys, the fact is we're yet to see any gameplay footage as of yet, so we don't know what to expect. But guys, I just want you to take away from this video that you keep an open mind, you think outside the box, and perhaps maybe let the mainstream streamers who have the money play this game first before you buy, you know, think before you buy. Well anyway guys, this has been the Voice Box. Thank you for joining me. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, leave me a comment in the section down below. Thank you.